Hey everybody, welcome to this full-length Geotab Drive tutorial where I'm going to cover everything from getting the app to logging out. So getting right into it, to download the Geotab Drive app, you need to log into the Google Play Store if you're on an Android device, or the Apple App Store if you're using an Apple device. What you're looking for is the Geotab Drive app, which we'll search for, and then click Install. And once downloaded, you can click Open, and then we'll see this welcome screen if it's the first time you're logging in. This will ask you to enable location permissions, which you'll want to at least allow for while you're using the app, and then you'll see the main login screen. If you've logged in before, or if you share tablets with other drivers, you may see some other information here, but in this case, we're going to click Options to see these different boxes and enter our login information. Your username goes here, which is typically an email address or driver number. This box is for your company's database name. And then this last box is for server, which most of you watching will just leave as my.geotab.com. In my case, I'm using a preview database, so I'm going to change up the name, and if you're using a white-labeled version of Geotab through a different company, you'll probably have a custom server you'll need to put in here instead. Once everything looks good, click Next. Now you can enter your password and click Login. If you're logging in for the first time, you'll see this end user agreement, which you can read through, and then click Accept to continue logging in. Here we can choose a vehicle, or select no vehicle if you're logging in to adjust your logs or do work without being assigned to a vehicle at this time. To choose one though, click this box and search for your vehicle. Once you see the one you're looking for, click the bubble to the left of the vehicle's name to attach yourself to it. On this page, you've got your options for attaching trailers and shipments. We'll connect a trailer by clicking the plus button here. We'll search for trailers and click to attach them, and we can see the ones we've attached up here, or remove them by clicking the X's next to them. We'll just keep this one trailer here, and then click Continue. Next, we'll add shipments. Here I'm going to fill out the shipper name, commodity, and document number, click Add, and then we can see the shipment at the top. We'll add one more of these, and then click the X to drop one of them, and then click Continue to go back to the Assets page where you can make any additional changes you'd like. This page is just telling us that we've got logs that need to be verified. We can do this here by clicking the Verify button, but I'm going to skip this for now because I want to show you how to verify logs from the main part of the app later. Now we're being prompted to do a vehicle inspection. The method for inspecting a vehicle and a trailer is the same, so we'll just do a quick vehicle inspection by clicking here. The first thing we need to do on this page is select the inspection type: pre-trip, in-trip, or post-trip. We'll go with pre-trip since we're just logging in. Now you can go through your inspection and mark any defects that you find. In this case, we'll say our vehicle has a bad motivator. This isn't a standard part, so we'll click Other, type in some information about the problem, and then click the camera icon to take a picture. Once you've got a good picture, click OK, and then hit Save. Now we can scroll down, add a remark if we'd like to include any other message to the person in charge of managing defects, and click Done. This pop-up is the electronic version of signing off on your inspection, so click Yes here, and then you'll be back to the main inspection page. Notice that this green toast appears telling you how long your inspection lasted and that you were put on duty at the time that the inspection began. We'll click Skip Remainder here to move on to the dashboard page. The first button on this page is for hours of service, so we'll click HOS, and here you can see the buttons you can use to put yourself into any of these statuses manually. If we switch to an off-duty status, this rest duration timer shows up, which is there to let us know how long you've been on an off-duty break. Driving break in is how much longer you can drive before you have to take a 30-minute break. Driving left is how much of your 11-hour driving time you have for the day. Workday left is how much of the 14-hour workday you have in which to finish up your driving time. And cycle left is how much time you have available to you on your current duty cycle. Speaking of duty cycles, you can click View Cycle Recap to see a breakdown of time spent in the current duty cycle. So this top line is how much time you'll have available in your cycle tomorrow, and we can see from this list that we've had 3 days so far in this current duty cycle, how much time we used up each day, and the total hours we've used so far. Scrolling back up, we've got this View Exemptions button where you can see any exemptions you have available to you. We'll click Start here to apply a personal conveyance exemption, enter an annotation explaining what we're using the exemption for, and then click Apply. We can see from this black toast that the exemption has been applied, and it's also conveyed up here with this blue banner at the top and the fact that all our regular duty status buttons are all grayed out. To get out of an exemption, scroll back down and click Stop. The other main section here is the Logs page, which has your graphs view. You can click the arrow buttons here to navigate to different days, and you can verify any days that you still need to sign off by clicking Verify here. If you need to add a log, navigate to the day you'd like to add the log to, click Add Log, and then fill out the details. We'll say we're going to add an on log, we'll change up the time to earlier today, we'll add an annotation explaining why we're adding the log, and then click Add to put it in. Now the new log is on our graph, and we'd see it if we scrolled down far enough in our logs list. When it comes to the logs list, you can click any log to see details about it, and then click the back arrow here to get back to the regular view. The one last thing you'll likely have to do from the screen at some point is approve admin edits. When an admin makes an edit to your logs, you have to approve them. You can do this by clicking Accept and Verify up here, or you can scroll down, find the log that's highlighted in yellow, and click it to see the details. If this shouldn't be added for some reason, click Reject, or if everything looks good, click Accept to have the changes go through so that log shows up on the graph as well. If everything else looks good here, you can click Verify to sign your logs again. Back at the dashboard, we can see what it looks like when you get a message because of this small orange dot on the Messages button here, or the bar on this main Messages button that also tells us how many messages we have. Click either of these to see the message, and then click the message itself to read the whole thing. Here the admin has made a request and given us a button we can click to acknowledge it. However, if we're unable to fulfill the request, we can just click this box here and type a better message back. Going back to the dashboard again, we can scroll down to find this roadside check piece, which is where you're going to go if you have to do a DOT inspection. This first pop-up is asking you for a temporary PIN, which is there so that if an officer tries to look at anything other than the inspection stuff, he won't be able to. So we'll enter a PIN here, enter it again, and click Confirm PIN, and then we're on this main inspection page where you'll enter an officer's code or comment here if he provides one to you. Then click Email Transfer or Web Services. Both buttons do the same thing, but if the officer doesn't specify which to use, the FMCSA has indicated that the Web Services transfer is the preferred method. If the transfer goes through properly, you'll see this screen indicating that it was successful. If you're in Canada, you can click I'm not in USA, add the officer's email address and any comments provided, and then click Transfer. If you ever have trouble transferring your logs, you can scroll down here and click the Compliance Print button. This provides the officer with all of the information he needs to do the inspection, including a view of the graph, a list of the logs for each day, and any unclaimed logs or malfunctions assigned to this vehicle. Once you're finished, click Exit up here at the top, enter that PIN we assigned earlier, and you'll be back to your regular dashboard view. Scrolling back down on the dashboard, we can go to Settings to see options like changing your password, and scrolling down to read more information. And then this More button has features like Check for Updates, which you can click to have the system see if any changes like admin edits have gone through, and enabling dark mode so that the display doesn't burn your eyeballs out with that glaringly bright light while you're driving at night. The last thing we'll cover here is adding a co-driver. To do this, click your initials up at the top and select Add Driver. This will bring you to a new login screen where your co-driver can enter his name, click Next, enter his password, and log in. Your co-driver's view is the one we're looking at now, which you can tell because of the initials up here at the top. The other main difference is that co-drivers don't have the drive status available to them. To change who the co-driver is, you can click the initials up at the top, click Driver's Seat, and choose the other driver. Now this driver has the drive status option available to him, and if we click his initials up at the top, we'll see the steering wheel icon next to his name. We can switch back to the other driver's view by clicking his name, and again, he doesn't have the drive status. To log a co-driver out, switch over to his view, click his initials, and then choose the log out option. This will have the driver adjust any trailer or shipment options if needed. We'll just click Save and Continue here, and then he can choose to go off duty and click Verify and log out. This will switch back to the view of whichever driver is still logged in. When it's your turn to log out, click your initials, and then log out. Make any adjustments to your trailers and shipments attached to this vehicle if you'd like. Click Save and Continue, and then choose which status you'd like to switch to before you verify and log out. When you see this login screen, you'll know you've been successfully logged out and detached from the vehicle.